Hello everyone, welcome to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. This is a special update today here, a critical update. I am updating you here on the severe weather potential later today, and I will get to a daily weather forecast update here as we head into tomorrow here. But today, the most pressing issue, the Storm Prediction Center has upgraded portions of western Minnesota, the eastern Dakotas here, across portions of east central South Dakota and southeastern North Dakota here to a level 4 or 5 of moderate risk of severe weather, with an enhanced risk extending up toward the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, getting down toward Omaha here, portions of Sioux Falls, Sioux City, and getting down here toward the Lincoln, Nebraska area, and getting down into north portions there of Kansas and into the eastern Dakotas. And then a marginal risk extending all the way down here into West Texas here, across portions of the Fort Stockton area, getting up here to the western side of the Oklahoma City metro, and then here getting up towards Kansas City and maybe up toward here the Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin area as well. Another marginal and slight risk zone across here portions of Mississippi, getting down into Louisiana, far western Alabama, with a slight risk here centered on the Jackson, Mississippi area later today as well. The hazards today, no tornado hazard down in the south, but we do have a 10% hatch tornado risk of EF2 or stronger across portions of South Dakota here as we head into this afternoon and this evening, with a 5 and 2% tornado risk here surrounding that, kind of along that warm front into northern Wisconsin here, a slight chance of a tornado there as well. And then we are looking at the hail risk here today. A general, large area, 15% hail risk. And then a narrow corridor with storms that first initiate here, 30% hail risk with 2-inch or greater here size hail of golf ball size or larger generally across this area here from the eastern Dakotas, getting down to east central portions of Nebraska and into central Kansas here. And then the storms will propagate to the east here, still bringing that hail risk later today as well. And then we have a 30% and even an upgrade of 45% here wind risk as we head into later today as well. A hatched wind risk across most of west central Minnesota, the eastern Dakotas, getting down to northwest Iowa, and then here portions of northeastern Nebraska here, where we could have 75-mile-per-hour wind gusts or stronger here. We could locally have gusts that could be up to 90 miles per hour as we head into later today. 90 miles per hour. So some very impressive wind gust potential across these areas, especially here in that 45% wind risk as well. A little bit of a wind risk here, a limited wind risk across portions here of Mississippi, western Alabama, getting down into eastern and southeastern portions of Louisiana. Kind of centered again here on the Jackson, Mississippi area. Maybe some localized downburst gusts that could be up to 55 to 60 miles per hour across those areas. So why is this happening? We do have another kind of disturbance moving in the center of the country, another trough. We have it taking on a negative tilt here today. That'll continue to push up into the northern plains as we head here into this evening, and then here push up into southern Canada with a surface low developing and deepening here into the southern Canadian provinces here of Manitoba, getting into southeastern Saskatchewan here as we head into Friday morning. We do have a lot of warm, moist air here being pulled northward with this system here and the ejection of this trough here off to the west. So a lot of low 90s, some upper 80s across the Midwest, feeding into the instability here. We do have a lot of moisture here pooling up ahead of this system as well. You can tell where that dry line will be extending down through here portions of Nebraska, Kansas, into portions of the Oklahoma and Texas panhandles here. We got negative 22-degree dew points showing up here across portions of New Mexico. So a critical fire weather concern down there. I will have more updates on that here tomorrow, but do want to be mindful of that as well. In addition to the severe threat here, we do have here dew points well up into the 60s to low 70s across the upper Midwest later today. That will fuel some instability, some pretty strong and extreme values, especially into Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, and then tailing its way down that dry line here in a cold front area across portions here of the eastern Dakotas, getting into east central Nebraska, Kansas here, and down into portions of western Oklahoma. Kind of on the order here with northward extent of about 4,000 plus joules per kilogram, and then along that dry line cold front on the order of 2,000 to 3,000 joules per kilogram can be expected of that instability. So let's look at the composite reflectivity of how this radar may look like later today here. Don't take this verbatim, but this could be the potential here of what the radar could look like. We got some supercells firing up later this afternoon around the dinner time hour, and then they'll move and propagate to the east, forming a very solid squall line here as it pushes into portions of western Minnesota, the eastern Dakotas area, and then the eastern Nebraska, central portions there of Kansas, and this will continue to move to the east. Now, the HRRR model does have this weakening rather quickly across portions here of Minnesota, Iowa, and into the central plains. I do think this may hold together a little stronger, especially if a cold pool here aloft can kind of organize itself and really maintain itself, and I do think that could be the case. So this model here might want to shift some of these storms a little farther, probably about 50 to 100 miles here to the east. So I think these storms will make it into portions here of northwestern Wisconsin, eastern Minnesota, getting down to central and maybe eastern Iowa, and then getting down here into northwestern portions there of Missouri with time as well as we head into late tonight. And then that front will kind of wash out and stall out here as we head into later this evening. This is another kind of rendition of what it could look like. This is another model. This is the NAM 3KM model. You see a solid squall line here across portions of the eastern Dakotas with some tornado risk up near that warm front, and then extending down here into portions of the central plains. This will continue to push to the east. This does have it push a little further to the east here into Minnesota with a very strong bowing segment. That's where we could have that 75 plus mile an hour wind gusts, maybe up to 90 miles per hour locally. Here were some of the strongest storms. So that here will be something to watch. We are seeing some pretty decent supercell composite values pretty high up in Minnesota along that warm frontal zone, and then getting down through that dry line and cold front here across portions of the central plains. But the highest tornado threat by far is in that moderate risk zone across Minnesota and the eastern Dakotas today. And that's where we do have some significant tornado parameters showing up, especially from Nebraska, getting especially up near that warm front into Minnesota, eastern Dakota. So do got to watch that here as we head into later today. So that is just my general update here today, critical update on the severe weather, and also do be mindful of that fire weather risk across portions of the Four Corners here with any open burning across those areas, as the dew points will be well below zero. So some very dangerous fire weather concerns down that way. So do be sure to like my video, give me a thumbs up here, leave any comments, questions below, I'll be able to answer those, and remember to subscribe to my channel, as I'll have a daily update as we head into tomorrow, a full daily update here across the country from coast to coast on what you can expect here through the rest of May. So thank you very much for watching, and have a great Thursday, everybody.